So there I am, surrounded by a village of pre-warp civilization people. Suddenly, they're worshipping me as a god. So all I did is what anybody would do. Gave them a set of commandments. Oh no, gave them a set of commandments and skedaddled. Yeah.
What were your commandments? How many commandments?
Because it's I tried to do the classic 10, but it turns out like 5 of them are just about how great God is. So I went with thou shalt
not. And the last 2 are very similar. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's wife or stuff.
Yeah, and there's like respect the mother and the father, and it's like that was so. What the West children are in hell, are they? That doesn't do well with me. So yeah, it's a don't kill, don't steal, and then I kind of ran out of steam, so I just went don't be a cunt, no double denim, and then just I said probably don't bother with dairy or eggs, just like I think that was it.
So when will we check in on these guys again?
Oh no, they're all dead. Podcasts. A Frontier. These are the voyages of the podcast Captain Slug. Its ongoing mission to explore strange new episodes, to seek out new jokes and new references, to split infinitives that no one has split before. Captain Slog, Stardate 50. Keeping that in. These are the continued voyages.
Last week's was 50.
And my colleague. Oh, Jesus. Okay, Captain Slog, Stardate 51. Mm-hmm. These are the continued voyages of me, Eddie Edwards, and my colleague and friend, Mr. Mark Bench, as we trek our way through all of Star Trek. Mark, do you want to continue your rant about Christmas cards?
So I hate. It's something I've got into on this podcast before. I hate Christmas cards.
Yeah.
I hate them
because you hate Jesus, isn't it?
Look, if you can think of a reason why I would hate Christmas cards, it's one of the many. It's one of the reasons, right? It's fucking schmaltzy. It's weirdly impersonal because it's like, oh, I got a Christmas card from Auntie Gladys. And then you realise, oh, this is one of 200 that she felt like she had to write out of obligation. I don't want that. I would be happy if everyone just left me alone all the time. It might not be as fulfilling an existence, but at least it would tell me that everyone is being genuine in their thoughts of, I don't really want to hang out with Mark today, so I'm not going to do it. Which I respect.
I've had a very complicated relationship with my mother, and I no longer speak to her. But Mother's Day, right? Okay. If you have a good relationship with your mum, you probably spend in your entire life, you've probably spent maybe an hour buying Mother's Day cards, right? I used to have to spend about an hour every Mother's Day trying to find a card that didn't sound so schmaltzy and over the top of like, the love between a mother and a child is a special love. No, if anybody's listening to this who has a card company, make a range of like Mother's Day cards that like, Mum, I don't hate you enough to not give you the card that I'm obliged to give you, but let's not pretend anything good has happened between us. Right? That would be a great line of cards that filled that gap in the market of like, I have to get you a Mother's Day card, but I don't actually like you enough for any of this to feel genuine, and you'll read this as fake because you know we don't get on.
Dear Mum, in some ways I appreciate the matriarchal lineage you have bestowed upon me. Kind regards.
Dear mother, without you I wouldn't be here, so thanks for that, I guess.
Yours. What do you think is the most formal way to end a letter? I don't know because I don't live in the 1800s.
Right. I do know that like my dad has a very good sense of humour. So I have on more than one occasion I have started a Father's Day card with the phrase "To whom it may concern."
I once got I've spent a long time picking out Mother's Day cards because a few years ago, for Mother's Day, I decided to get my mum like the default Moonpig card.
Oh,
Like the one that is just the picture of clouds that says your image here. And here's the thing, right? Moonpig are obviously wise to this. Because I don't know if they think that, oh, if enough people get this as a bit, people will start thinking that there was a problem in their factory or whatever. You really need to go out of your way to make that happen. Like, because you have to, they never give you a straight on image of that. It's always on a card that's like kind of slightly facing away from straight on. So you have to capture that image, then you have to skew it in Photoshop. And then you have to upscale it to a point where it looks okay, and then only then will they be like, right, this guy has clearly put in the effort, this guy is clearly an arsehole, the person that he's sending this to isn't going to assume that we fucked up. They're going to know that this is on him, right?
They should put that on the back of the card though, just a little bit. This was not a fault. The person who's sending this went to the effort to show you how little they care.
One time, just to test, because the whole point of this is that I don't like cards. I don't think anyone in my family particularly likes cards other than as a bit delivery device. So one time on a Moonpig card, I just put the entire text crawl from the start of A New Hope in a Father's Day card, just to be like, does this work? How much can we fit in here? All of it.
Well, A New Hope's all right. If you really want to, I would have gone with like one of the bad ones, like Revenge of the Sith.
War.
A trade dispute between the fellow. Oh, Jesus Christ.
So anyway, I as I told you, I'd got in a text conversation with an aunt, basically saying that please don't send me birthday cards or Christmas cards. I genuinely don't like them. They legitimately, for many reasons. Like I am a fucking, like, don't if you get the chance to meet me in real life, don't be.
No, just don't.
Don't be disappointed if that doesn't lead its way into a friendship, because you don't want to be friends with me. I'm terrible, right? But I don't. What was I talking about? Oh, cards. I don't like cards. I find them impersonal. There's a multitude of reasons why I don't like them. They make me heavily uncomfortable because I know that I'm never going to send you anything, and I look at all gift giving purely transactional. Because if you giving me a gift makes me feel this terrible, then surely everyone must feel that way. So I finally got up the balls, as it were, after years of fucking trying to subtly be like, please don't send me cards, to just be like, look, Connie, just no send me cards. I don't like them. They go. And I think I straight up said, if you send me a card, I will put it straight in the bin. Like, I don't get anything from it. Like, the only thing that you will get out of it is that you have got one over on me because you managed to get one to me. But I'll just put it straight in the recycling. I don't care. It makes me feel that uncomfortable. But she's, over the last couple of years, she's been like finding really subtle ways to get cards to me without me but in situations
like a reverse pickpocket. She just comes up behind you, slips it in the back of your jeans. You're like, what the?
Not really, because if anything, I'd respect that. What she does is she finds situations to give me cards in that I can't really make a scene during.
Oh, right, okay.
Last Christmas card that she gave me, was that a Christmas card? I think it was a Christmas card. The last Christmas card she gave me was when we were in the waiting room, basically to find out if her dad was going to come out of a coma. He did.
Was it actually a coma, or was he being visited by three ghosts? Which I imagine to the outside observer looks like a coma.
So I don't. So I'm not going to name him on the podcast because I keep that. But he's a great uncle. He's a top lad, but he's like a proper Glasgow Protestant Mason.
Okay.
That so you can imagine his opinions on let's say
everything.
Hot button topics. And he's good. He's like, everyone thought that he was a goner a few weeks ago, and he's up, he's awake. We've been told as a family that his filter, basically, sometimes what happens after a stroke is that your filter just goes away.
Okay.
To which I said, "Oh, that's good," because, my God, if there was anything that he was famous for, it was that filter really holding back his opinions. So anyway, fuck Christmas cards. Just look, if it's the thought that counts, just give me the thought. Just send me a text message. Do you know what I mean? Because I'll know
I
that
thought
you
were
probably
hoping for
had
a
to.
telepathic.
Hey, give me a telepathic Christmas card. Do you know what? Do that. Pray to the deity of your choice. The one in which your opinion is definitely real, and ask them to send me Christmas wishes, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure that once they get back from all the Christmas wishes given to all the kids with leukemia that they themselves have done, I look forward to receiving it. Oh, I'm in a bit of a mood today. What's...
Speaking of the deity that you choose to believe in, for no real reason, Star Trek.
What was this one about? Ray Wise was in this one.
Yeah, he was.
That's it. That's my top note. Ray Wise.
Yeah, Ray Wise. Who, if you do know, he's from Twin Peaks. He's from RoboCop, and he's also from the short-lived Kevin Smith TV series Reaper, in which he played the devil.
Yes, he was very good at it.
He's very, very good as Satan.
Yeah.
He's got This is the thing is, this is post Twin Peaks that he did this. I'm pretty certain, right?
Oh.
So like Ray Wise was a big deal, is what I'm saying.
Like,
yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know, man. I wouldn't roll the dice on that one.
Right, hold on a minute.
If they were like, if you get this right, you'll win £1 million, but if you get it wrong, we'll cut off one of your hands. I wouldn't.
No, this would have been. This was before Twin Peaks.
Oh,
so they fucking lucked out.
Good, because I need both those hands. No, I would have said
certain.
before.
Hold on a minute, no. Twin Peaks was 1990, so when was this episode broadcast?
90. 89 or 90.
Yeah. Right, I'm checking. 89, so yeah, just before he did this, and then he fucked off to be weird with David Lynch in the woods.
David Lynch is in that.
The Fablemans.
Well, you would have watched this. You would have watched the Red Letter Media video about it. Yeah, the Fablemans. I'm actually really interested in that now. Now that Now that the two people on the internet who decide what my opinion is on things have decided that we quite liked it.
It's annoying at the moment because for the first, this used to happen all the time, but right now there is nothing good in the cinema. But there is a good movie out, but it's only out in America. It hasn't been released over here yet, as far as I'm aware. So I can't see it. And I was under the impression that we'd stop doing that bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, there isn't anything out, is there?
No, yeah. Well, let me rephrase that. There's a couple of very, very, I'm assuming, very, very good and very worthy dramas that focus on, like, the American civil rights movement. But, you know, there's a cost of living crisis in the UK. It's fucking cold, and I will feel bad about being white in the summer. Okay? Right? That's...
Yeah. Yeah. I
know it's wrong, and if I'd had the chance, I wouldn't have chosen it. But it is
Wouldn't
what it
you?
is, and I'm sorry. Well, no, that's not true.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I've come to really accept, because I got quite a lot of grief recently. Sorry, James, we'll get to Star Trek in a minute. I got quite a bit of grief recently, from people on Facebook. I think I don't know if I talked about this the other week, but basically I said that because of how useless it is to move around using a keyboard, and that takes away from the extra aiming precision that you get with a mouse. On average, using a controller is exactly the fucking same as using a keyboard and mouse. Maybe not in first-person shooters. In literally every other game, except for first-person shooters, using a mouse and keyboard is, at best, exactly the same as using a controller. And I got a lot of shit about this. Mainly just people finding various tolerant ways to tell me that I'm a fucking idiot. But it really made me examine my relationship with games. Because I realised that this episode's going to make me sound like a real misanthrope. I do actually enjoy spending time with other people that I enjoy. I wouldn't do this otherwise. Do you know what I mean?
We're not doing this for the vast wealth it's gained us.
No.
We're up to 23 audience members according to the back end on this. Fucking, I know.
But I don't like playing games to be challenged. I like playing games to feel a power fantasy. So if you're like, yeah, but the mouse and keyboard is so much better for like online competitive multiplayer, I'm like, if it was up to me, and God willing one day it will be, there will be no online competitive multiplayer. Every single game will be a single player game. Even FIFA, even the sports games. They will all be single player, they will all be story driven, and they will all be good.
I think that might ruin Magic the Gathering. But
I
other
don't give
than
a
that,
shit.
I know I'm with you. There's a one of the difficulty options on, I think, is Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Yeah.
One of the difficulty options was called Tell Me a Story, and it's I don't. Like, I like game. I played Hollow Knight. I can like and enjoy a difficult game. But you know what? I played a lot of difficult games when I was young, and games were difficult because they were shit.
A lot of this came down to as well. Like, obviously, The Last of Us has just come out, the TV show.
Yeah.
And everyone's absolutely losing their shit over how good the TV version of The Last of Us is, which to me just cements my own opinion that if you create an interactive piece of media and everyone says it's fucking amazing, and then you adapt it essentially shot for shot to an uninteractive piece of media with nothing lost except the interactive parts, and it's not only lauded as being as good, a lot of people are saying it's better, then what that means is that your interactive parts were at worst pointless, were at best average, and at worst completely pointless. Just tell me that fucking story. Just show me the fucking movie. You clearly made a movie. Show me the movie.
I'm going to say that, like, from a story perspective, I think The Last of Us is a 10 out of 10. Like, I genuinely love it as a story. As a video game, it's a 7. It's a 7 out of 10. It's a cover shooter,
solid
bang
4.
Zombie game. Like, it's if you, and also it has possibly the greatest case of. I was going to say it's the greatest case of ludonarrative dissonance I've ever experienced, but that's Watch Dogs 2. Where everybody is like a geeky hacker who like, oh, we're so fun and adorable, aren't we charming? And then 10 seconds later, I'm capping a security guard in the back of the head.
But anyway, my point is, being white is playing life on easy mode, and
yes,
that is my preferred way to play games. So if you want to read into that,
yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
Right. So the Enterprise is going to this fucking planet.
Yeah, they're anthropologists.
Yeah.
And their reactor is going wrong.
Neat stuff.
It's ruining their holographic shield. The locals see them. One of them nearly dies. They beam him up to the ship. They fix him. They give him their like memory wipe drug thing. It doesn't work. He goes back and accidentally. They think Picard is God, and they try to start a religion. And then at a later point, unfortunately, when they're debating whether or not Picard is real, there is a storm.
Yeah.
And they put 2 and 2 together and get Jesus.
And Picard solves, or somewhat solves, this problem by abducting a woman and showing her the planet from space. Which
is not the best way to prove you're not a god.
Not only that isn't the first nor the last time that will happen. And in fact, really, this is what should truly be known as the Picard maneuver. Because he does it to Thingy from First Contact.
Oh yeah,
he does it to one of the ones.
But that's because the writers of First Contact didn't watch Star Trek.
Yeah. Do you remember? The like fuck Planet 01?
Yeah.
Where Wesley breaks some flowers and gets done.
And gets put to death.
Picard does that to one of them hotties.
Yeah, he does.
Apparently, he does it at some point in the future as well. Apparently, he does this 4 separate times. Now, this is the real Picard maneuver. So these people they're essentially Vulcans. They have the same evolutionary. They evolved separately from, but have evolved very similarly to Vulcans.
Yeah.
So they look like Vulcans, and they have like Vulcan minds and things. So they have. They have like they've gotten over like superstitious and fear and religion and shit like that, right? So Picard brings her up, and she's like, "You are a god. You must be a god. Look at all this." And he said,
Yeah.
"Well, back in the day, your people used to live in caves, right?" And she goes, "Yeah." And he says, "And now you live in huts." And he's like, "Yep." And she goes, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, the Enterprise is basically just a big space hut."
He explains it. He goes, caves, huts, warp travel. Those are the 3.
Imagine if she'd went, I live in an apartment. We've got rent control.
They don't. It's also they don't live in huts. They live in like quiet, nice, like I would say, possibly ancient Mesopotamia is where about the level of like tech I'd put this at. Like,
Yeah, and like their housing looks kind of Mediterranean.
yeah, it's like not shit. I mean, I doubt it's got Wi-Fi, but they've got like a big sundial that they've got to go take measurements from every day. They've got to go up the hill, which is weird. I don't know why you like build it like nearer.
Day 8,312, sun, still there.
But I do love that. Right, there's this group of people, and the Enterprise, through accident, Starfleet has accidentally given these people religion. And as far as Picard in this episode is willing to sacrifice his own life to stop that bullshit cold. Like, no, that's the worst fucking thing. You don't want any of that. Because there's a point in this where the like anthropologist is like, well, if they think you're a god, maybe you should beam down and give them some like commandments and guidance, so that they don't end up with like, you know, an inquisition or a holy war or something like that. And I've gone, and all I could think at the time was like, oh yeah, because if your religion has clearly defined rules, like for example, thou shalt not kill, what that means is there will never be any unpleasantness done by your church.
Yeah, and what a lot of people don't know about the origin of Jesus is that he was actually trying to do the same thing. He was trying to prove that he was just a carpenter from Galilee, right?
Yeah.
And everybody he meets, he's like, "Hi, Joshua Christ, carpenter from Galilee. Mention my name, you'll get half off." Right, or that part. He had his own van, and he's like, "Listen, I'll prove it. I will prove that I am not the Son of God. I'll go and get crucified, because that's absolutely the worst way that the Son of God could get done in." And look how that backfired on him. And then he died, And his apostles were like, actually, 3 days later he came and visited us in a Holiday Inn, a hotel, conference
But
room.
did anybody else see this? No, just us close friends of Jesus who have the most to gain from propagating a lie based on his demise. And we're the only people who saw him. No independent outside observers.
Nah.
Like Herod, if he'd appeared to Herod, right, then I would have believed that. Herod's got nothing to gain. All that proves his crucifixion doesn't work. He's going to have an uprising on his hands.
I love that. So I went to Catholic school, so we had to hear a lot of this nonsense at school time, right? And I distinctly remember Mrs. McConnell telling us about the story of like after he comes back. And I don't know if she was really bad at telling stories, or if my imagination like was kind of strange, where I could only imagine things very literally, right? So and also, if you don't tell me a lot of the details, my brain will fill in a lot of the details on its own, but not consciously. It's really strange, right? So so she was like, listen. So he comes back, right? No, the apostles they're all having a meeting. Right, they're all at like a hotel.
They're playing Ludo.
They're playing Ludo, right? Which I imagine as being like this hotel fucking conference room, right? And they're all just hanging out in there around the big table, like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? We need to say
Only on one side of the table, of course.
Yeah.
As is tradition.
And then fucking Jesus pops back, right? And he's knock knock, hello, it's Jesus. And he walks in and he's like, it's me, I'm back. How's it going? And everyone's like, hey, Jesus. Except for Thomas, henceforth known as Doubting Thomas, who's like, prove it, right? to which made me think that why would he do that? Like, was he away at the toilet when Jesus came back, and he walked back in, and all the other apostles are like, oh, this is Jesus, as if they're doing a bit, right? As if they've got one of the waiters to dress up like Jesus. And then Jesus is like, no, look, it's me, I'll show you the hole in my hand. But that's all that I remember Mrs. McConnell saying, is that he showed Thomas the holes in his hands. What my imagination immediately went to was Thomas taking a hand and going, right, can we put things in this? Because this is a good effect. But I don't... Imagine that, imagine that, like Thomas is like his... Because obviously the 13 apostles... Was it 13? Was it 12? 12 apostles?
I think it would be 13, but one doesn't get counted for obvious reasons.
So yeah, so they've all probably got pretty decent upper management jobs in heaven, right? Like Peter's in charge of the door.
Except for Judas.
Yeah, and I've always
he does all the Charlie work.
Yeah, because he loves an ironic punishment, does he? God, he loves an ironic punishment. Sometimes he sees a kid and he's like, that kid has bones, give it cancer. So
that's what you get for having bones.
Yeah. So is he the plumber? Is he heaven's plumber? Because he's the guy that deals with holes. He's the guy that's like willing to put his hand into holes to check to make sure they're not blocked. Think he was a funny guy, Jesus? Do you think the apostles had a big WhatsApp group?
I don't think that Jesus was funny. Okay, so first of all, right, we have in the Bible loads of bits of Jesus like doing his patter, like telling stories. Oh, and all I'm saying is there is plenty of opportunity to put jokes into the story of the Good Samaritan, which I'm gonna again bring up my major problem. Is only a story that shows about Jesus' preconceived racism towards the Sumerian people, right? Okay, it doesn't like. This Samaritan was good. Even a Samaritan? What? Fucking hell, calm it down, Jesus.
Imagine they'd released the Bible in 1996 and it was called the Good N-Word.
They use that word, why can't I?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a brother to all men.
Yeah, that's why in the Bible the Good Samaritan is described as he was walking down the road, he had a boombox on his shoulder. Looked like he just done one over on a convenience store. It's horrible. Imagine, I wonder if the racism that the Judeans had against the Samaritans is basically the same racism that white New Yorkers had against people from Brooklyn.
See, I imagine that the people...
Trainers are really clean, they must be stolen.
See, I think it's more like modern day Britain and Eastern Europe, when it's like they look very similar. So you've got to just make up things to be racist about. Like, oh, look at them coming over here, taking all the jobs, lazy bastards. Well, it's one or the other, mate.
Yep. Yeah, so they think this Picard guy is God.
Yeah. And,
you don't...
can I say to you,
Yeah.
they think he's God, and they want to. They've got Troy, who's done one of those plastic surgery things they do every now and then. And they want to put her to death to appease Picard. I can't remember exactly why. But, right, if you believe that, fine. Why is the best way of killing Troy using a bow and arrow, a ranged weapon, from, 10 feet away rather than just stabbing her?
Because you can blame it on the arrow.
Oh, if Picard didn't want me to do this, he'd stop the arrow.
Yeah.
Which I presume he could do.
He didn't do it to himself. He took
that
arrow
Yeah.
right in his big old damaged heart.
Right. Okay, and then so much is he trying to prove that he's not a god that he even then has a sling on later on, even though, as we know from Federation technology, that is fine now.
Yeah.
He's just playing a part. It's like, oh look, and also when she touches him, pulls out the leader of the village touches his wound and shows that he's bleeding. They're really fortunate that they have the same colour blood, because otherwise they would have gone, what's that?
Yeah, because that's bizarre. Because if they were Vulcan-esque, they should have green blood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good. I love this episode. I genuinely love it, and I think it says a lot about the jumping quality that we're 4 episodes into season 3, and this is already for me a personal favourite episode. I love this episode.
This episode is, I had a little bit of a look at its legacy, but I kind of already knew this. In fact, I knew it when the episode started, and I turned to Laura and went, "I've seen this one."
Yeah.
Is that this one is kind of, it's really highly regarded. It's regarded as one of the best TNG episodes because it's the question in it is so pure and so straight down the line. It's proper Star Trek. The series, the whole entire episode might as well just be that. Is it Isaac Asimov who said that any innovation that we don't understand may as well be magic? Is that?
Yeah, I've got that exact quote in my notes. Yeah. But yeah. One thing I absolutely love about this is when they beam her up, one of the first things that she sees that completely blows her mind is the automatic doors. And I think that's a reference to something that's very, very cool, which is that automatic doors are in Star Trek, but they didn't exist at the time. The technology to make automatic doors was invented after the original series aired. So that's the only bit of Star Trek tech we've actually got in real life. So that's why I think they're like, make a big deal with the doors. We could have got warp core. Yeah. Somebody had a monkey's paw wish for a bit of Star Trek tech, and that's what they got. But yeah, no, I love this. Here's my question: what would you have done? You've accidentally given these people a religion. What is your approach?
I've thought about this because inevitably at some point I will be worshipped. I don't know, man. If I was a Starfleet captain, I guess you do. Although someone did raise an interesting point, which is that it's weird that there's no reverse prime directive, is it? If Starfleet finds a thing that's way beyond their understanding that can help them, they're absolutely going to fucking use it.
But yeah, the number of times they run into a godlike being and instead of being like, "Oh, that's well above our pay grade, we're gonna fuck off."
Yeah,
they get all up in their shit.
Yeah, I'll have I would have. I don't know, man.
Because I was thinking about this is I would have just left.
Yeah.
Because the people in that village are going to believe that there are gods, right? But you get like 3 generations away, and it's a bit. Well, your grandpa said he saw it. It's like no, I don't believe it, and you'll be fine. I think. Rather than leaving a village where it's like where there is now a village on that planet where they tell the story forever of that time we were visited by someone from space.
Christianity started with 12 guys.
Yeah, I know, but these guys have already done religion and then like knocked it on their head. So when they go to the rest of the world, they're going to be like,
yeah, but then does religion like hit back harder when it hits it? Because like we are. I think, in my own opinion, we're due another big old... Like, I can't remember what I was watching, but there was something that I was watching where they said that people didn't realise it at the time, but the 20th and the 21st century we now refer to as the Second Dark Ages. And I have a feeling that that's going to come back. I think religion is going to come back in a big, bad way once we're all fucking starving. And don't have anywhere to live, and the ritual needs like culture war just won't work anymore, so they'll need something else. So they'll just go back to the old favorite. Tell us what God wants us to do, and I think we'll believe it. And I think the second time round it'll be worse. I think we're headed for a Gilead.
Yeah,
Now, whether people believe it or not, or just people are just too afraid to question the status quo, I don't know. But I think a religious comeback tour is much worse than what it does the first time.
So, no, I'll give you that in modern society, but in specifically, these guys don't have like tech and communications. They're still on like their infrastructure is still. Yeah. I'm going to ride a horse over to that village. Then it just becomes, that fucking village is mental. Especially when they're like proto-Vulcans who've gone, they believe in the old shit that we don't believe in anymore because we know that's not true. It's like, who caused it? Because, when there's a thunderstorm, it's like, the Picard has caused the thunderstorm. And they'll go to another village and they go, actually, we know that's the result of barometric pressure, right?
And then he takes the leader to the Enterprise for his special move. And he kind of says to her, like, your species will develop warp travel, they'll develop all this, like they eventually will have it. So is sending her back down with that belief not similar to just having him think that he's a god? No, it's aspirational, isn't it? It's about how to improve yourself.
If somebody arrived on Earth now and just said, like, arrived on Earth, just appeared, spoke to, like, on TV and just went, just a heads up to let you know, faster than light travel is possible. Bye, peace out, and left. Right, I think as a society we'd pretty much focus on that goal. Like that.
I don't know, man, because I made Laura...
Because I want to get as far away as possible from other people.
I made Laura watch Pacific Rim the other day.
Right.
And... I forgot that there's at the very beginning at the montage that explains how the world got to how it is. Basically, the first kaiju, it wasn't even the first kaiju, it was like the fourth or fifth kaiju showed up, and that's when the world were like, we should probably put aside our differences and and get that. I don't think the promise of warp travel being, like, even if we demonstrably see it with our own eyes that it is possible, that's not enough, man. It'll need to be like warp travel will need to we'll need to develop warp travel to kill something else.
Well, no. Here's the thing: if you could demonstrably prove that warp travel exists, the way corporations work is that all of the corporations will want to be the first people to make it, so they can monopolize it, failing to understand that making us part of an international, like, of an intergalactic space culture utterly undermines their position as, like, holding any power.
Do you think it's really... Do you think it's going to really upset the rest of the aliens, right? When, obviously, the Star Trek vision for the United Federation of Planets is that we went through World War III, and then we became one Earth, and then we decided to dictate to these alien races that have been doing this shit for centuries, like how it's going to go, right? In reality, what would happen is, as soon as we developed warp travel, if there was a Star Trek show that was about what humanity will realistically be like after it has warp travel, every second episode would be the one with the Irish diaspora, because every single fucking group, the fucking Amish, the Mormons, the fucking the Chinese ones, the ones who are either harvesting organs or getting their organs harvested. I'm not really sure. I don't really. Yeah, well,
the Uyghur Muslims. Yeah.
No, not them. Not the Falun Gong or something, where it's like equal. They're almost like the BBC of people, because people on the left are telling you that they're bad for this reason, and people on the right are telling you they're bad for this reason. We'll cut this out when I'm famous. Don't worry. But they'll all be like, do you know what? Fuck it. We're all being oppressed, so we're going to fuck off to some other planet, right? The Amish, they'll go off and find some planet that just continues to let them to think that they're better than us, cunts. And then the aliens will be like, oh, here we have a Class M planet. It's called New Netherlands. Let's land and see the welcome that we get from the humans. The humans who we've met on Earth were pretty friendly. They all seem to be pretty with it. They were all on board for progress, and then they land and it's just a planet full of the fucking Amish. What are they going to think? How's that going to reflect on us?
I don't think the human race will ever come together as one and unite and go out into space.
Too many Amish.
But I don't need everybody to get on board with the idea. I just need like a ship that's big enough for me and all my mates, so I can fuck off. I just want to fuck off and hang around with space people. It'd be cool.
I'd like that.
See fucking wondrous and incredible things. It's like, then you want to go back to Earth. Very much what I think is known as pulling a Star-Lord, which is like, we could return to Earth. I have no interest.
I really want to see some like intergalactic pubs. Is basically what I'm here for. Just what are pubs like in space? And do you know what? See if pubs in space were exactly like pubs on Earth. I think that would make me happier.
What if aliens don't have pubs and we have to bring the concept to them, and then behind the bar you got to have like a list of like what's toxic to other different alien races, and be like, what's that? You want a shot of Sambuca? You can have one, but your Chilean friend can't, right?
I like to think that I'm very inclusive of people's requirements and needs and wants in that order. I just I feel like if I ran a bar in space, I feel like it would be that. I feel like it would be like you'd come in, like it would be like that fucking diner where they insult you, like where they come in and I'd be like, all right, square face, what you having? And he'd be look all funny, and I'd be like, no, that's like old Scottish like pub banter. That's like the guy behind the bar you have banter with. Do you know what I mean? That's one of the rules. But then I'd also be
that's going to be difficult to explain to the aliens when it's going, no. In human society, casual racism is a form of respect.
Yeah, so long as we both laugh. Yeah, it's from what I understand, it's fine. But I think I'd really go out of my way to be like, right, because I love a martini. I think a martini is one of the greatest human inventions. It just goes down so smooth and it gets you so drunk. But I'd have to really go out of my way to create the martini for all races. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can see that would be a tricky thing. Also, it just occurred to me, you're fine to be racist in space. Because you're not punching down, are you? They've already got the technology. They're in the position of power. It'll be the one time ever you, as a white man, would be able to just throw out casual racism and go, oh, there's no power imbalance here. This is just fun.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with you're not punching down because there's no gravity. You're technically just punching in all directions.
That too.
Yeah, there is no down.
That's why people don't like the Borg, because they're in a cube. Everyone's like, I don't know what way up their spaceship is. It's just throwing me off. That's why it's a cube. It's the most dickish shape they can make their ship. Oh, no, what way up we are.
This is Pulaski got a shout
Oh,
out.
Pulaski got mentioned. Yeah, she did. She still exists.
Yep.
That's the most we can say about her. She never reappears. Like, somebody should have like got her back and touched on her as like a character, like like maybe in like Deep Space Nine or like anything. There should have been nothing.
She apparently gets a written shout out, however that works, in Voyager.
Oh right, okay.
One of my notes is this episode should have been called "Some Other Guy Doing People's Important Jobs," and I couldn't figure out what that was in reference to. And then I remembered, at the beginning there's a guy on the helm that isn't Wesley, and then Picard says, "Oh, I'm going to transport a room 1." So obviously me and Laura got excited for an O'Brien exchange. Then it's just some other guy. What's O'Brien doing?
And especially bear in mind that the Transporter Room 1 is canonically, as established in a later episode, Chief O'Brien's favourite transporter room.
Yeah.
So we can only assume he was drunk or asleep. He's in one of those two states.
How far away do you think the transporter room is from the bridge?
Well, it's instantaneous. You work in the transporter room. The transporter room is next to everywhere.
Yeah, but you have to walk there, don't you?
Well, I don't.
Because Picard
honestly,
gets in a turbo lift and then goes to transporter.
I don't. Maybe why?
Picard to transporter room 1. Chief O'Brien, I need to have a word with you. Could you just beam me down to transporter room 1? That's the height of laziness, mate.
Maybe that's it. You can do that, right?
Yeah.
But what you can't see underneath on Picard's wrist is he's got his Fitbit and he's got to get his steps in. That's why they always have to stand up before they go on the view screen. It's like it's set up like a standing desk. It's just Starfleet has done the research and they know that this is the setup that you have to keep everybody looking trim.
Yeah.
Because there hasn't been a fat member of Starfleet since Scotty.
Do you remember the movie Jumper with Hayden Christensen?
Yes, I do.
Right, I can't remember if this is a thing from the actual movie or if this is a bit that my friend and I made up after it. But if I recall correctly, so Jumper is about a guy who has the ability to teleport and
to anywhere he's seen before.
To anywhere he's seen before, or if he has a picture of it, he can go there, and he's pursued by surprise, the Catholic Church, and because he was underage when he developed those powers. So if anything, they weren't even after him because he could teleport. That just appealed to them, and then they were like, "Oh, we can't let him get away." So he, at one point, he's teleporting. He goes back to his hometown and he hooks up with like his high school girlfriend. And at one point, there's some sort of joke where he can't get through a door, or he finds a door difficult to use, or something.
Yeah, because he hasn't used a doorknob for fucking ages.
Yeah, but then it's like, well, you don't just teleport everywhere. Like, we see you in the beginning. You teleport from your house in New York to London, and then you go into a bar in London and you pick up some woman, and then you get in a hotel. You get in a taxi and you go to the hotel. Like, you're obviously using doors all the time.
He lets her go first.
Yeah.
No, it is stupid.
It's kind of like having like a paraplegic character be really confused by a treadmill. Like, no, just because they don't. No, they still understand on and speed up. He has hands. Doorknobs are fucking invented to be hand compatible. That's why they're at the fucking height that they are. It's not hard to fucking use them.
Yeah, no.
David?
But equally, a paraplegic character I wouldn't expect them to be, good at using a treadmill. Look, you're not going to get any argument from me that the movie Jumper couldn't have been done better. Okay. The only reason it's not one of Hayden Christensen's worst movies is because of all of the other movies he's made.
Yeah. He is good in things. He plays James Dean in a movie where Guy Pearce plays Andy Warhol.
Right, okay.
And he's quite good at it.
Okay, yeah, I can imagine that. That's, yeah, I can... I'm going to be absolutely clear. I don't think Hayden Christensen is a bad actor. I think he's been very poorly directed in at least 2 movies by a man who seems to have no understanding of human emotions or basic storytelling structure or how uninteresting trade negotiation.
I mean, you do say that. I like he created Han Solo.
Did he? Or did Harrison Ford?
No, George Lucas was the guy who was like, it's been about 45 minutes. We should probably put a character in this that's just like, oh, this shit is dumb. And he did, and Han Solo is inarguably the best Star Wars character because he's the only guy that's like, you guys are fucking idiots, man. This is weird. Just want to go back to my van with my dog, smoke weed.
But the thing is, I don't know how much that is the character is written and how much that is Harrison Ford, because there's a story from on the set when Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, had realised that the scene that he was in was after the scene they'd been in the trash compactor, and he was like, "Oh, my hair's dry, so it should be wet." And Harrison Ford was like, "It's not that sort of movie." It's like, if people are noticing that your hair is dry, we've got bigger problems. And that's it. I mean, like, Harrison Ford is the only person who took the material as seriously as it should have been taken, which is, and this is going to really annoy Star Wars fans, not very.
Yeah.
Right? It's a great movie, and its cultural importance is incredibly significant, but it is silly.
Yeah. Right. I can hear my dinner getting ready. Who are we? Right. Who are we promoting? I know who I'm demoting.
Right. I'm going to say this: fantastic Troy episode. Absolutely spot on. Well. Totally the person I would send down to the planet. Who am I demoting? Riker can't even kidnap a fucking Starfleet officer without getting fucking seen. Fucking worthless.
My demotion is going straight to Dr. Beverly Crusher. Because when Riker and Troy showed up and said, we need like genetic like changes to appear like these kind of Vulcan looking guys, and she's like, okay, and then she just did the procedure from You Only Live Twice, when James Bond asked to become more Japanese. And they just give him a more square headline and little prosthetics over his eyes.
Oh God, I love the James Bond franchise, but every time I get reminded that exists, I get sad. It's so offensively racist.
I get in a lot of YouTube holes, and I watched a YouTube hole where someone made the claim that for your eyes only, no, not for you. Was it On Her Majesty's Secret? It was the George Lazenby one.
That's on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah, he made the claim.
Sorry, His Majesty's now.
That not only is that the best one, it's the only good one.
Right. Well, that person needs to be put to death.
And I was like, I'm in. You've got my attention for 20 minutes.
Right, and to completely overlook the work of Timothy Dalton and GoldenEye, just fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
Goldfinger is a movie that has the line, "You expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die." And that's one of the best pieces of dialogue ever written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else to add about this one?
Data doesn't know what means.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he has to have like the mumble. He has to have that explained, which seems weird. It seems like that would have come up at some point in the 20 plus years he's been activated.
But has it? Because the universal expression of "I don't want to be rude, but I'm pretty bored with what you're saying" is
Oh, and he probably thinks that is the sign of interest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what's been going on with Data all this time. Is nobody's ever broken down the different ums to him.
No, I'll be honest. I've had some lads in my alien pub with that behind the bar at 1 a.m.
And then you get them to carry out O'Brien. Take him with you.
All right. Well, that was the episode. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, really good episode of Star Trek. Watch it.
Yeah, it's great. Bye.
Bye.